Hi, this is John Hawkins. I wanted to respond to my first post. One of the questions I got this weekend was from a former client that asked me, if you have been working through a lot of your traumas and you're in a place now where you don't get quite as flooded or hit with these intrusive emotional body flashbacks, how do you then start to distinguish between a legitimate fear, kind of intrusive traumatic memory that's coming in emotionally? So my first response would be that whatever is happening, your first obligation and right is to do whatever you need to do to feel safe. So whether it's to leave a conversation, leave a situation, reach towards somebody you really trust, whatever that is. And in a lot of different traumas, I mean, choice is one of the things that's taken away. Whether I'm being shamed as a kid or assaulted as an adult, I lose the option of choice. So choice for me is really huge in recovering from all these things. So whatever you need to do to feel safe, that's the first and foremost thing. For me, the next thing is kind of a rule of thumb is if my reaction seems excessive to the situation, there's probably past coming into the present. I mean, we've all had those scenarios where, we could feel really confident one moment and then all of a sudden in a certain situation, small and inadequate, quit the next, or all of a sudden just kind of really anxious and fearful when we're not sure why, really blow up at somebody and it seems really out of character or way more than that situation just called for. One of the ways we identify that in therapy is my client will come in and we'll talk about what happened. Maybe they've kind of flipped out or blew up on their spouse or coworker or their kid, and as I'm having them tell the story, I'm tracking what they're feeling emotionally. And I'll ask them, when you start to think about this now, you think of the worst moment for you, or the moment I'm most frustrated or ashamed of, what do you feel in your body right now? Where do you feel that as you focus on that image? The image is one of the best ways to get connected to the feeling. When our mind sees an image, it doesn't know real from non-real. That's why we cry at movies, get scared at movies. So you can do a lot to heal, you can do a lot to mentally rehearse with imagery. So as they're focusing on that image, whether it be like something somebody said that really lit them up, they'll then tell me where they're feeling. It could be in their chest, their stomach, their legs getting numb, whatever it is. And I'll have them track that as we do that together and just tell me, as they're feeling the sensations, just to follow the sensations and let their mind go with no expectations and just see what drifts into their awareness without censoring it or qualifying it as important or unimportant. They may get a red beach ball and I'll just say, just tell me, I don't know why, but I just see a red beach ball. Slowly stuff will come in. Sometimes it'll jump right away to a memory. Sometimes it'll start to bring fragmented stuff that eventually get us to whatever memory, because the memories are stored implicitly here in the body, so they will kind of come up into conscious awareness. Now the caveat I would give to that would be to caution people do any of this work alone, because what could come in could be very flooding or triggering, and you don't want to just do that. If it's not too intense, or you've done a lot of work and you know how to ground very well, that's something you could explore. Or if it's something bigger, with somebody, a friend, a spouse, a therapist, they can be there to help you regulate if you start getting a little too activated. So once that happens, what we do then is the image, the memory may come in, and so now we're connected to the energy of this memory, and we're wanting to just let that move through the nervous system and the body and discharge. So there's probably about 4 or 5 primary ways I do that with clients here in therapy. One of the most frequent things I would use would be a therapy called EMDR, brain spotting, AEDP, somatic experiencing, which are really good at just utilizing the body's own capacities and healing resources to shift this stuff. So that would be my answer to that question. There's probably more I could say about that with specifics, but again, the first and foremost thing is achieve safety for yourself. You have a right to feel safe. You want to believe I have the capacity to achieve that. And then once I'm in a situation where I'm more regulated, either by myself or with support, then I want to explore whatever that was that started to come up for me. A healthy fear orients us towards a specific threat. So if my checking account just bounced or deficited, and I'm like, oh crap, I've got to pay my bills, I don't have enough money. So it orients us to that and gets us moving on. It gives us energy to start addressing it. Or if somebody's cutting me off in the road or pulling me, a gun out on me or something, it's a very specific thing that's real adaptive for us to orient towards, unless we don't have the resources. And then sometimes we go into a freeze state, which is what develops a lot of these situations in the first place that stay residually with us. And then we all have stuff. If you look at a continuum of 1 to 10, everybody has something on this continuum. So I know a lot of times clients will feel shame or, what's wrong with me. Everybody's on that continuum. That's part of being a human being. The further on the scale of 1 to 10 you go, the more intrusive it's going to be when it comes popping in, where we need maybe some more help. If I got made fun of in 6th grade when I got up to give a speech in front of everybody, maybe I don't remember it that well and it's not affecting my life that much. But if I can think about it and I get like a 3 of 10 in my stomach, there's some unresolved stuff there. And maybe it doesn't bother me at all until I have a new job that I've got to give PowerPoints every Friday, and that 3 goes to an 8 now. And somebody gives me a bunch of strategies of positive thoughts to tell myself, which if it's a 3 may be helpful, but if as an 8, it's going to blow right through those things and your right brain is just going to laugh at your left brain. So I can speak to more maybe in another post about core fear. I think it's really important and helpful for us to understand like what our core emotions are, what their purpose is, why I would want to feel something like grief, what's the benefit of it, because I have to have a motivator to feel something that's painful. So continue to send me questions, emails, messages, your own posts, whatever it may be, and I'll answer every one of them as I can get to them. All right, appreciate the question there.